How did you integrate technologies such as software, hardware, and online in this project? In order for my project to have a high-quality standard and look professional, I had to integrate different forms of technologies which I learned through my research. I learned this by using Photoshop CC, Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, Publisher, and Adobe Premiere Pro. I specifically used Photoshop in order to create my front cover, content page, and article, as it was easy to access due to the research I did through workshops online all about how Photoshop works. As a result of that, I learned how powerful Photoshop is as an editing software, as you get various effects easily and get consistent professional results. The best part was if I didn't like something I produced or wanted to improve anything, it was easy to go through the individual layers and change it up. I also incorporated softwares such as Microsoft Word, PowerPoint, and Publisher, which had all different tasks throughout my pre-production work, production, and post-production. Starting off with Microsoft Word, I used it to write my articles and see if there was any spelling errors, since Photoshop does not provide a spell check. And I used Publisher to create my questionnaire, since it was easy to create and easy for my audience members filling out numerous of questionnaires on my blog to respond to. Lastly, I used PowerPoint to create the last CCR, as my PowerPoint allowed me to create, edit, and showcase a neat and professional presentation. Next on, I will talk about the types of hardware technologies I interrogated within my project. Hardware was one of the most important features for a good quality magazine, as its visuals generally grabbed your audience's attention. I created a total of 5 galleries and repeatedly used the same camera with the same lens. This happened to be the EOS 1300D Canon, accompanied by a 50mm lens, which through my research, I learned it creates the best effect for a close-up and mid-shot, which were the type of angles I used for my front cover, content, and article page. I used 4 LED lights as I shot inside, so it looked more proficient. However, I later on went to shoot outside. Here I relied on natural sunlight, where I used the late afternoons to take my picture. This is because light creates illumination, which brings the picture to life. I purposely used a 64 GB memory card. This is because in my 5 galleries, I took a total of 1,000 pictures, which I purposely did, as I had more to choose from. When it comes to my post-production, I used the Canon XA35 for my first and third CCR. This is because my requirements was to create a headcam for the first one, and a director's commentary for the third. To accompany that, I used a handy recorder 200M for all of my CCRs, since I needed to make sure I used high-tech quality in my recordings, so it would be easier to listen. After recording all this footage, I needed a software to put it together. I used Adobe Premiere Pro as it had a lot of learning resources, great interface, and a high-power editing tools, which would make my video very professional. Lastly, I will talk about what online technologies I used. Throughout my research, I got all of my secondary information through sites such as Google, as it contained quite brilliant technological advances for its web search engines. When it came to where I placed all of what I learned, I used an online blogging site called Weebly. Here you can see all of my progress. This includes my research, pre-production work, production work, and my post-production work. I had used Weebly previously while creating websites in my old school, so this wasn't new to me. I, however, found this a fun method of studying and saving anything I learned, which was where I placed the design of my final magazine front cover, content page, and article page.